All right. I think I've got it now. By George. Sorry about that. That was kind of crazy. I don't know. At 4:34 a.m. on the 14th, someone turned off my microphone. So interesting. Could have been a cat. You never know, right? But I don't know. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I got hacked." I'm not sure. Maybe I should believe it, but I'm not sure I do believe it. But I guess sometimes those wild and crazy things happen, right? Okay, so we kind of have a double dose here on what we're going to talk about today because I really was going to do two videos. It got all messed up because of my microphone problems, and so now I'm talking very quick so we can get to the content before I lose anyone. All right, here we are. First of all, who the hell is Sarena Sharpe? Is that a question you've asked yourself? Well, if you've been following along with the trial of Lori Vallow, you could very well be asking yourself, who the hell is Sarena Sharpe? I'm here to tell you, Tina Reddington. Welcome. Glad you're here. No, thank you, Tina. I'm glad you're here. So who is it? Who is she? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you who she is. So her name has sort of bubbled up through the primordial ooze that surrounds Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Where did it come from? Who is she? Well, I'm happy to tell you that this woman was introduced to Melanie Gibb Warwick. By whom? Should we all say his name together? Who knows the answer? Who do you think brought this being of light together as a gatherer with Melanie Gibb and Lori Vallow? Anybody know? Oh, I'm going to say it, Vicky. I'm going to say it. Let's all say it together, shall we? Go ahead and type it in. Get ready to hit enter because I'm totally saying it. What is his name? Who brought this gathering beam of light aboard with Melanie Gibb and Lori Vallow and Nicole and Zulema? Yeah, so who brought it in? Here we go. Jason Mao. Now hit enter. Let's see how many of you got it right. Mel Matt got it right. No, Tina, it wasn't Chad. It was Jason Mao, actually. Jason Mao was also the one that introduced Melanie Gibb to Lori Vallow. Gosh, Jason, looks like you were collecting women, sir. I can't for the life of me figure out what you wanted to do with all those women, but nevertheless, here we are. All right. So this is actually a very interesting interview with our favorite detective, Hermesia. She had a lot of very cool and interesting things to say. We'll go ahead and get the rest of the way through this. Hey, Yvette, welcome. Good to see you. It's gorgeous in North Carolina. I'm sorry that your husband isn't home yet. Yeah. Okay. So it's beautiful in Texas, too, down here on the beautiful Gulf Coast. The diamonds are sparkling on the backs of the waves, and the dolphin were out this morning. So it is a beautiful day today. So let's go ahead and see. Jason is the wizard behind the curtain. It's starting to look that way, Vicky. And I hear it upon good authority that Jason, who lives in Arizona, is feeling a little bit uncomfortable in the bubble that is known as Gilbert. That's right. Because we do have a murder investigation prosecution of one Charles Vallow that is still, waiting for the outcome of whatever happens in Idaho. So yes, so Jason Gibb might either he may be the man behind the curtain, or perhaps he knows who the man behind the curtain is. And it wasn't Chad Daybell. That is for certain at this point. Now then, so Sarena Sharpe, so those of you that are here for the prepping information, we're going to talk about that as soon as we finish Sarena Sharpe. The information on Sarena Sharpe is not really going to take that long, and then we're going to go into the whole prepping information. All of this is related to information that we've learned from the prosecution of Lori Vallow and her connections with Chad Daybell and preparing the people. And so the prepping is part of this information. Now then, Sarena Sharpe is, we need a drum roll. I wish I had a sound effect that would have a drum roll. Sarena Sharpe is Chad Daybell's granddaughter. Just hang on a minute before you get dizzy and fall out of your chair. Not done yet. Sarena Sharpe has told the police, Detective Hermosia, that she is Chad Daybell's granddaughter and Lori Vallow's daughter. Yeah, if that's not enough to make you go, what? Just wait. Now, is this DNA in today's world, 2023? Absolutely not. It's nonsense. In 2023, this is absolute nonsense, okay? But this is more of this is more of Chad Daybell's delusion, aka gaslighting, of people that were really I'm trying to think of the proper word. I don't want people to think I'm picking on these people. I'm not picking on them. I'm not making fun of them. These were people that were open for the message. These were people who have zero skepticism when it comes to anything religious. These are people, I think I would be willing to bet it's safe to say, these were people leading mediocre lives, and they were in search of some magic. They were in search of something spectacular. They were in search of something bigger than them. They were looking for some sort of meaning in their mediocrity. And I'm not, look, you guys know I'm a big fan of mediocrity. I don't have a problem with it. I think that a lot of people have made themselves sick in this drive and this search to be, greatness, okay? I think it is very healthy to have an identity of strength and insight, to know who you are and to like who you are. Now, some people can call that mediocrity. I just call it good mental health, okay? But nevertheless, these people that got sucked into the madness with Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and Melanie Gibb, Jason Mao, these are people we have recordings of. I'm not afraid to say that people got sucked into their madness. We've heard it ourselves. Now, most of us, mentally healthy people that know who they are, they have a good sense of self, they have a positive, personal identity. We would listen to this nonsense and we would just go, oh, BS. That's just silly. It's nonsense. Most of us would respond that way. Now, some of us, including myself, and probably Lauren on Hidden, a True Crime broadcast, those types of people, we'd probably go, oh, okay. Well, what do you mean? Like, it would be interesting and amusing to kind of explore the depths of these delusions. But I think the good many of us, and me on a busy day, I would just go, this is nonsense. I don't have time for this, and walk away. But for whatever reason, these people like Sarena Sharpe and Melanie Gibb, they stayed. They got they stumbled upon this group preparing a people or a vow or just Chad and Lori's craziness. They stumbled upon it and they stayed. They stumbled upon it and they were welcome into the fold. Except for Sarena Sharpe, who got fired, which is a little funny because other than King Charles getting rid of Harry and Meghan and Andrew, I didn't know that people would kick you out of a family-owned business, right? But apparently, Chad kicked his granddaughter out of the business. Lori kicked her daughter out of the family business. Now, in 2023, this is nonsense. The DNA of Chad and Lori does not course through the veins of Sarena Sharpe. This was all part of their delusional BS, or I like to call it Chad's gaslighting. This is just gaslighting at its finest. Okay? Nothing, it's just gaslighting. Now, if this woman's sitting here saying, okay, yeah, I'm Lori's daughter in another life, if that's not enough to make you get up and say this is nonsense and walk away laughing, listen to this. She was Lori's daughter and Chad Daybell's granddaughter back in the day when Chad was who? Methuselah. I know. Steven Spielberg could not make this up, right? I mean, it's just, I swear I think the guy was making things up as he was going along, right? As he's going along, he's just making this crap up. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, Jason Mao is making money like gangbusters, man. He's just rolling it in from all this nonsense. The children of light are spreading their word. Now, those of us that are Christians and we go to church and we, sing in the choir and we, learn about the Bible, be kind, do unto others, blah, blah, blah. As those of us that are actually Christian, we're listening to this and we're thinking, my goodness, this is blasphemous. I mean, these people have gone over. we're now in a whole different realm of blasphemy. In fact, if you listen to that video I put up yesterday, it's called Unholy. It's Chad Daybell giving the patriarchal blessing to Alex, the angel of death. If you listen to that, you are listening to something that, I don't know, y'all. I think it sounds satanic. I do. I think it sounds satanic. I know that sounds crazy, and I'm definitely not one of those people that shrinks back from upside down pentagrams. I think goats are cute. I don't see Beelzebub when I see a goat. I'm just like, oh, look, he's cute. And if you run circles around him, you can make him jump up in the air and do flips, because that's what they do for some reason. So when I say something sounds satanic, it does. It's weird. Like, that recording of Chad Daybell's voice is crazy. So all of that being said, this is not Christian, y'all. This is not Mormon doctrine. This is just, like I said, it sounds satanic to me. Not Wiccan. I'm talking about satanic, wicked. That's what it sounds like to me. So Sarena Sharpe is one of those sucked into the madness, people. She was, how should we call it? Identified by Jason Mao. Jason said to her, my goodness, girl, the minute I saw you, I said to myself, that is one of us. I could just see the light shining in your eyes, Sarena. And I am going to introduce you to my good friend, Melanie Gibb. And the rest is history. That is exactly how it went. Shocking, isn't it? Like, it's amazing that this pattern is emerging. So she met Jason Mao first. Jason Mao introduces her to Melanie Gibb first. And Melanie Gibb introduces her to who? Lori Vallow. In fact, this woman that you see right here on this screen was at the blessing or the casting of Charles Vallow. Yeah, that's right. She was there. Now she claims that they fired her, that they kicked her out of the League of Light and Ladies. Okay? She was expelled, excommunicated, sent away. I don't know. So you think, oh, that's such a sad tale, but girl, lucky for you. Boy, that saved you, didn't it? She's like, oh yeah, man, I am so glad I'm out of that. But wait a minute, there's one more fact here that is very disturbing to me. I've been telling you guys that I have had bad feelings about this whole Jason Mal thing since way back in the day. Way back in the day. And people were going, oh no, Jason's such a nice guy. You just don't know. He's such a great author. He's a great guy. You just don't know. And I said, okay, all right. I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit on my hands on this and hold off and wait and see. And at this point, I'm typing now. I'm talking and I'm feeling very uncomfortable. And I'm now feeling uncomfortable about Sarena Sharpe. And the one thing that really made me feel uncomfortable about her is this. She and her husband, well, they just had to move to Rexburg. That's right. She met this group. She was at castings to kill Ned Schneider, a.k.a. one Charles Vallow, who had said in March, you know what, Lori? I'm going to Rexburg. I'm going to Rexburg, and I'm finding Tammy Daybell, and I am telling Tammy, everything that you're doing. I'm going to tell her everything that me and Adam and the rest of us have found out. Everything. Lori said, go ahead. Tammy's my friend. That wasn't true, was it? So this man who's threatening to shine the light on what's happening to Tammy, he is getting, his evil demons are being cast out by one Sarena Sharpe. Now, my question is this. She claims that they kicked her out of the group, but my thoughts are maybe she ran from the group when Charles actually died. Or perhaps it was when Tammy died and she's living in Rexburg and she says, oh my God, what have I done? So I'm a little skeptical of Sarena Sharpe. Okay, now the cops obviously have cleared her. They never would have released this interview. But it does seem that there's some very uncomfortable connections. Would y'all agree? So she definitely drank the Kool-Aid. She moved to Rexburg with her family. And we don't really know at what point she sort of said, ay, ay, ay. Or if she ever did. If her story is true or not, that they kicked her out, we don't really know. But it does seem pretty strange to me that this woman would pick up her family, move to Rexburg. She claims that she has visions and dreams. So let's see what else she has to say.
Did the conversation with him ever get personal with you? Did he inquire about, were you married at the time?
Oh, he knew I was married.
Okay, did it ever get to the
But he
point?
never like asked about my husband or anything.
Did he ever say you guys were married or related in a previous life?
Related.
How were you related?
When he was Methuselah, I was his great-granddaughter. So there was Methuselah, and then his daughter was Lori, and then I was Lori's daughter.
And you believed it, Sarena. Own it, girl.
You know, if you had asked me that a year and a half ago, I would say yes, but it seems like the more we dive into this, the crazy goes out the window because there's just so much. And, you know, it's just this way of life.
Yep. Of lies and deceit and indoctrination and.
Yep.
Now, lies and deceit. Where have we heard that before? Melanie Gibb, right? I am concerned about your soul, Lori. I think you have been subject to lies and deceit. And then she called her horrorcore or core horror. I can't ever get it. I can't get the names right. You remember that? This something else makes me very nervous. Makes me very nervous that this group seemed they seem to use exactly the same phrases. Like, was it a orchestrated defense? Here's what we're gonna say. Now that Lori and Chad have been caught, here's how we're gonna play this. Is that what it was about? I would, as soon as we finish listening to this, I'm going to go back to the beginning. I want you to listen to Sarena Sharpe's cadence, her syntax, the way she speaks. You can hear Lori Vallow. You can hear Melanie Gibb. They all speak the same. It's very disturbing.
What, Tammy?
Yes.
What did he say about her?
I'm trying to remember if I heard it firsthand or secondhand, so just so you know. But from my understanding, she was going, don't be surprised. This is what I remember, is don't be surprised if you hear about her being in a car accident and dying soon, because I need to complete basically it was I need to complete my mission and I can't do that with her. He said the same thing about my husband too, by the way, when I saw him in Rexburg.
That your husband was going to die? How?
Because he didn't say how. He's like, because you need to complete your mission.
What did he say
Boom!
about-
In Rexburg.
And
Well,
Chad said that personally to you?
When did you hear about that to Tammy?
Again, I'm trying to remember if he said that to me personally or it was the only time I was ever.
Man, that bothers me. Damn it. Oh man, this makes me so mad, so angry. Hold on, let me show you why. Listen to this again. I'm going to be quiet. I don't want to interrupt, okay? Listen to it again. Hermesia, lets her talk. And then she sort of subtly says, well, said that about the same thing about my husband, right? It's kind of said quickly, kind of under her breath. Hermesia picks up on it because I think he honestly wants the truth. I do not believe that Hermesia is acting as an agent to protect the LDS church. I think we have players in this that are protected. They're doing everything they can to legitimately prosecute Lori Vallow, but they have a higher order, and that is do not let any of this stick to the LDS church. I believe that in my heart and soul. I think that is why Boyce said no cameras in the courtroom. I believe that. I believe it in my soul. Okay? You got Lindsay Blake, who's now leading this when it started out as Rob Wood. Well, now we know Rob Wood is a bishop for LDS. 95% of Rexburg is Mormon. 95%. And now we have, in no uncertain terms, we now know these people are literally moving to Rexburg as a pilgrimage. It's a Mormidor from Arizona. Actually, we got from Austin, San Antonio, Texas, to Arizona, to Idaho. Yeah, I said San Antonio, Austin, Mormidor, to Arizona, or to Idaho. And there'll be more videos about those connections. We know where Lori Vallow at this point. We know where Lori Vallow's family got their indoctrination, and it was in the great nation of Texas. It is unbelievable what's coming out of Austin, San Antonio's Mormon communities. It's unbelievable. My jaw, I can't even, well, don't get me sidetracked because it's crazy. But Lori was indoctrinated as a small child. She was in her family of origin that was off the deep end, and then they make their way to Arizona and ultimately Idaho. This woman here, Sarena Sharpe, is one of those. They were on a pilgrimage to Rexburg. The day that the night after JJ died, David Warwick is meeting with Chad Daybell and a host of people looking to purchase land to buy buildings. Don't you think for a minute that David Warwick is not a part of this? He divorced a woman with 5 of his children and abandoned them to go be with Melanie Gibb in Rexburg. So this is one of those women. She and her husband moved to Rexburg. And now we find out, oh yeah, well, look, Chad said my husband had to die. He said my husband would die too. Hermesia, because I think he's one of the 5% that is not LDS. I think he's one of the 5% that's legitimately doing law enforcement. And so he says, what? Look at his head position right there. What? Your husband? Chad Daybell told you your husband was going to die in a car accident? Now pay close attention to this other detective. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. If people were trying to put Methodist in the place of LDS in this whole thing, I would be offended that they were trying to implicate my denomination or my Christianity. I would be offended. Okay, so I'm not saying that this is sinister or bad, but I'm saying if you live your life with a calling for Christ, you're going to try really hard to keep the focus on Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and off of the religion, right? That's going to be, because it's part of your DNA. It's part of your soul. So I'm not saying this is that it's sinister, but I do think people are, they've got this other motivation just under the surface, and that scares you when you're talking about prosecuting a child killer. That's sinister. All right, so watch. I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm not gonna interfere, but watch the dynamics of what's about to occur. It's really quite amazing. Namely, his interference. He interferes with a really important line of questioning by Hermesia, and I'm mad because that information's lost. But just kind of watch it.
Zulema, myself, and Audrey, and I don't know her last name. Lori was not there. But he would come in and just like, he gave us a priesthood blessing at that time, and each of us, and then he talked to us. He just basically answered questions like that we had. Again, I'm a question person. Zulema had most of the questions though at that time.
So did the conversation with him ever get personal with you? Did he inquire about, were you married at the time?
Oh, yeah, I was married.
Okay. Did it ever get to that
But he
point?
never like asked about my husband or anything.
Did he ever say you guys were married or related in a previous life?
Related.
How were you related?
When he was Methuselah, I was his great-granddaughter. So there was Methuselah, and then his daughter was Lori, and then I was Lori's daughter.
Yes.
No. If you had asked me that a year and a half ago,
It does
I would
sound
say
crazy.
yes,
Yes, it does,
but
Sarena. It does sound
going into
crazy.
this, crazy goes out the window because there's just so much.
Now listen.
You know, it's just this way of
Yep. Of lies and deceit and indoctrination and.
yeah.
Okay, and I said I was going to interrupt, but I have to. Sarena, own it, girl. Okay? We all make mistakes. We all get, choose to believe something that's not true. We all make those mistakes, and then hopefully when we realize, oh, I believed the wrong thing or whatever, then hopefully get back on the straight and narrow, and it's okay. Quit. Don't discount your involvement in what was really an overwhelmingly crazy set of circumstances. Don't blame it on Chad Daybell. Anybody with half a brain can take 2 minutes listening to Chad Daybell and know that the guy is a goon. You just own it. I shouldn't have done it. I don't know what I was thinking. It made me feel good. At the time, I was very depressed and lost, and it gave me my life meaning. Okay, just own it. We got to quit blaming things on other people. We have personal responsibility that we need to own. We don't owe anyone anything. If somebody accuses you of something, there's nothing that says that you have to go to them and set them straight and prove, yourself. No, you just know who you are and stand on your own 2 feet. Who cares what other people think? And then you don't end up in these situations like this where you get sucked in with a group of crazy people that are just, enjoying all the crazy. Just own who you are. Make your decisions based on what worked for you and your family, and try to keep in mind, I want to be a good person, kind to others, healthy on my own. And then at least then when things fall, then you can stand there and go, well, I feel good about what I did. But I'm irritated by this. Oh, it was all Chad's fault. All the lies and deceit by the Chadster. Come on, most people are looking at the Chadster and they've developed nicknames for him that make him sound like a cartoon character. You guys gave him his power. He's not walking around with it. Your own need for significance, your own search for magic and dominion with godly spirits. That's what led you to that place. Some people followed Jim Jones into the forest or into the jungle. You guys followed a crazy guy to Rexburg, Idaho. Just own it so it doesn't happen to you again anytime in the future. Would somebody put this damn soapbox away? I don't need it.
Did Chad ever talk about his wife, Tammy?
Yes.
What did he say about her?
I'm trying to remember if I heard it firsthand or secondhand, so just so you know. But from my understanding, she was going, don't be surprised. This is what I remember, is don't be surprised if you hear about her being in a car accident and dying soon, because I need to complete basically it was I need to complete my mission, and I can't do that with her. He said the same thing about my husband too, by the way, when I saw him in that church.
That your husband was going to die?
Mm-hmm.
How?
Because he didn't say how. He's like, because you need to complete your mission.
When did he tell you that?
In Rexburg.
And
Well,
Chad said that personally to you?
Mm-hmm.
When did you hear about that to Tammy?
What? This guy. Did y'all see that? Watch again. Oh my gosh. This makes me so mad. Listen to this is absolute mic drop moment. It's significant that she's saying, Chad told me my husband was going to die. He needed to be out of the way so that I could complete my mission. Does this sound like a woman who was out of the fold? Does this sound like a woman who had been fired for asking too many questions? Absolutely not. He is sharing with her visions of impending death of her spouse, and she accepts it? So Hermesia picks up on it right away. He's like, oh, wait a minute. This is big. This is big. This is important. And the next thing we know, the guy in the plaid, and I'm not going to bring up his name or anything, but the guy in the plaid, he says, oh, well, so when did you hear about this with Chad? She's already said, she just said that she doesn't know if Chad told her directly or if she heard that Chad said this about Tammy dying. She says, I don't remember if I heard him say it or if Chad told me directly. And then she points at Hermosia and she said, but Chad told me that my husband was going to die when I was in Rexburg. Chad told me. So no hearsay, direct witness here. But if you start saying, well, somebody told me that Chad said that Tammy was going to die, that's hearsay, and she can't be a witness, or at least not testify to that point. But for Chad to say to her, your husband is going to die in a car wreck because you got to finish your, satanic work here on earth, that's direct evidence, y'all. So why does this guy in the plaid, why does he take it, he takes it, the topic away from Hermosia to try to redirect it back to this kind of vague Tammy Daybell gossip. Oh my gosh, if I'd have been there, I would have just kicked him under the table like, be quiet, let Hermosia do this. Let him ask her questions. Oh, I was just so sick about this. Listen.
He's like, because you need to complete your mission.
When did he tell you that?
In Rexburg.
And
Well,
Chad said that personally to you?
Mm-hmm.
When did you hear about that to Tammy?
Again, I'm trying to remember if he said that to me personally or it was the only time I was ever alone with him was in Rexburg, and it was on campus, but otherwise we were always the 2 times I saw him, it was a group setting.
And that would have been down here or in Boise?
No, I'm pretty sure it was Boise.
So you think he said that in Boise?
Yeah.
Did he tell you how your husband was going to die? He didn't tell you that. So when he said that to you, what did you think?
It made me sick to my stomach. I went home and cried.
So you believed him at that time that your husband was going to
That it
die?
might happen, yeah.
Thank you, Sarena, for owning your belief. Everybody makes mistakes. It's healthy to kind of be able to develop insight for the things you do wrong. When you make a mistake, it's good to pay attention and go, well, what led me to that point? How do I make sure I don't ever, make that poor choice again, or whatever it happens to be. But wow, it's just amazing, y'all. It's really amazing.
I believed him. Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes through that, and part of that was just believing him.
Do you know what, though? Don't feel bad because they deceived a lot.
That's right,
Super
Hermosia.
good at
Yeah.
deceiving people and manipulating people by their thoughts and their beliefs. And,
Yeah.
there's always just a little bit of truth in there, and they just kind of twist it to what
That's
they
right.
want it to
That's
be
right.
done.
And they make you feel like you're special and we need you and you're needed and you're chosen and for me, I was in a lonely place up in Connecticut, and to feel like anybody cared about me, or maybe there was a reason, something for me to do. Not
Okay. Hurts my heart. Hurts my heart. Feels so, if I was there, I'd give this woman a hug. It's just terrible. She's really being very honest in this moment. And I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but she said, I was in a really lonely place up there in Connecticut. Did y'all hear that? I was in a lonely place up there in Connecticut. And, I felt a bigger calling. I felt like this was, something. I want you to give this some thought. Oh, good, AJ. Good, 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 good. Thank you. I want you to think about this poor woman and her husband. They moved from Connecticut to Rexburg on a pilgrimage, people. On a pilgrimage in search of God. Or, well, I guess they found God. I guess they believed that Chad Daybell was Methuselah, aka Jesus, aka Moroni. It's very frightening. It's very frightening. And at the same time, you also have to have some empathy for this woman. You can hear, she's very sad. She's this is a bad deal that she got caught up in. She says that when Chad told her about her husband dying, that she felt sick to her stomach and she went home and prayed. She's a true believer, She's getting her strength and her direction from God. But the human part of her, she's looking for meaning in her life. She's looking for something bigger than her, something to believe in. And she really believed all this nonsense, which I think was Melanie Gibb and Lori Vallow and all their, crap. And she felt like she was part of this, fraternity of women, right? That she's part of this circle of sisters, if you will. We're going to talk more about that too. Just hang on. Just wait a minute. We're going to talk about this circle of sisters and light and love and all those things that sound so beautiful when you're a person who's lonely or you're sad or you're burdened and you're looking for comfort and meaning. And it leaves you open to manipulation, leaves you open to substance use, because you just want to feel better. And I think that Jason Mao, Lori, Melanie Gibb, Chad Daybell, they all knew that. They all knew all that. Chad Daybell was just a tool. Chad and Lori were tools by a bigger group of people that were capitalizing off of these people. That's a sad thing. All right, so now I want to switch gears for a moment. Those of you that are here for the prepper information, well, here we go, okay? All right, so let me share. 1 minute, let me get it set up. You guys just talk amongst yourselves while I do this, because I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. All right. All right. Here we go. All right, people. Preppers. You are my people. Okay? I love Dabu. Okay. So am I, a crazed prepper with a howitzer in my garage? No, I'm not. But I live on the Gulf Coast, okay? I live on the Gulf Coast, and we have hurricanes here. And trust me, when you get a hurricane, it's not fun. You can go weeks with no electricity. The stores run out of food very quickly. Even if there's no electricity, they'll usually let you in like 10 people at a time, and you're allowed to pick up like 5 items or something off the store shelves. And so, I know what it's like to be in a bind and need food or toilet paper or lights or, something. So, yes, I do believe that economically, I think that the central bank idea, I think that the economy has been badly mismanaged, and that central banks, through the use of derivatives, have really broken down the value of our money. And so I think there'll be a reckoning and that's going to be uncomfortable for a little while. So yes, I have cans of beans, and I have some bags of rice. And now when I say bags of rice, I'm talking about like that you can hold in one hand. I'm not talking about these 50-pound bags of rice that a lot of the preppers purchase, right? So I'm not gung-ho into this. And I have a radio that is a solar-powered radio. I have a charger, or actually we got like 3 chargers that are solar-powered chargers. We have a generator. Yes, we have an awareness that when you lose your electricity, a storm comes, life gets difficult, there's basic things that you need. You need a game of Uno and Yahtzee. You need some stuff to draw and color. You need some food. You need some snacks. You need water. We got lots of water, and we have a way to like get water from the atmosphere. We know how to do that, and I have a big first aid kit. So I'm not making fun of preppers. Is what I'm trying to tell you, but I'm also not like all in. Right? I'm not waiting for the end of times to come around. I think to me, the end of time will be about a 30-day period where the system is resetting, and then it'll all go back into production, and everything will pick up right where we left off, maybe a little different, but it'll be there. But I do believe that I've told my channel, everybody needs to know how to grow tomatoes and peppers and rice and not rice, corn and cucumbers and stuff like that. Those are easy things to grow, and can keep you fed. So, not making fun of preppers. I gotta say that. Okay, y'all are my people. All right. Now then, I'm from a town that had 104 people in it. That was the official census. So I'm a country boys can survive kind of person. I get the whole fishing, hunting, all that kind of stuff. Now then, let's take a moment and think about this woman and her husband, Sarena Sharpe, leaving Connecticut and coming to Idaho on this pilgrimage. And this idea of prepping. In fact, the U.S. Preppers Be Prepared Not Scared website actually features a article where they say that, the title of the article is How to Prep Like a Mormon. Do you want to be a Mormon with 1,000 bags of rice, with white tents along the skyline? Okay. Followers of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints religion are taught a lot about self-reliance. One of the key components of their teachings encourages you to prepare your family for the possibility of hard times to come. Their strategies and beliefs are a thoughtful approach to prepping and offer something even non-believers can follow. Prepping doesn't just necessarily mean we are always prepping for the end of the world. Mormons believe that we should prepare for any potential disaster, even the ones that hit close to home. The Mormon prepping principles would help you in a true SHTF scenario, that is, poop hits the fan. SHTF scenario. A natural disaster or an economic hardship and unemployment. And that's that's my wolf at the door. It's the economy of the United States is in trouble, I think. And then, of course, we have to deal with hurricanes where I live. Adopting some of the basic principles LDS members follow is a great way to look at your own emergency preparedness, especially for someone who is just getting started. Now, U.S. Preppers says start with a 3-month supply of food. However, LDS is like, you need a year of food. No, you need 5 years of food. No, you need a lake with your name on it. I mean, they're pretty excited about the end times. U.S. Prepper says that you need long-term food storage. That means basic staples that can last as long as 30 years. That would be like grain, white rice, powdered milk, pinto beans, sugar. And of course, it's got to be, stored in the proper way to last that long. Water, lots and lots of water. And you'll never appreciate missing water until you're without it. You won't believe how much you use and how much you like it till you don't have it. And then the financial reserve, let's see, the teachings of the LDS Church encourages followers to prepare for adversity by paying attention to finances. They encourage people to have a financial reserve, even if it's small. They encourage you to discipline yourself to avoid debt. A financial reserve can come in many forms, but in a world where banks are collapsing, most smart preppers know that investing in gold or silver is a better bet long term. You need medication, food, first aid, you need clothing and bedding, important documents, alternative communication means, and then have an emergency preparedness plan, identify likely disasters, gather critical information, outline assignments and procedures, identify emergency communication methods, and encourage member participation. Mormons are instructed to encourage their congregants to participate in emergency planning, home storage, and financial planning that goes well beyond their beliefs about self-reliance. Now, this is important. You're going, what is she talking about? This is a true crime channel. Jules, have you forgotten that we're here to talk about true crime? No, I'm just taking a little bit of a deeper dive, people, because the law of consecration says that you should give everything to the church. Everything. And then the church, and all its glorious wisdom, 15 elders, I believe, they then give out to all the members, rich or poor. I don't know. It looks like Mitt Romney's getting a great grand share of his part. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, their teachings are, come one, come all, no matter how poor or wealthy. You promise everything to the church, and then they tell you what you get to live on. That's so that nobody goes hungry. Everybody has a house. All of that stuff. And toilet paper. Toilet paper for everyone. Okay? Now then. So serious. That was a little bit of a joke. Well, it wasn't a real, it was but it was true, but it was kind of, joke. But anyway, back to this whole prepper thing. So we know that with Lori, this is fact. We know that with Lori, the night that Charles Vallow comes home from Texas, his truck is missing. He's been locked out of his house. Gabe Bonilla and Jason Mao are actually there. We know that because Melanie Gibb has a hard time keeping her mouth shut. And when Charles goes in, all his stuff is gone. He's like, where's all my stuff? The poor guy was, man, whew, you talk about being surrounded by wolves. It's terrible. And and you didn't see him go off. You didn't see him lose his mind and start cussing and screaming and yelling like Lori and Tylee wanted us to believe. I think Tylee was coached 100%. Don't get me wrong. Lori's a liar. He's terrible. He's scary. He's so mean and aggressive and violent. So he gets home. Everything's gone. Where is it? And then we find out later on from Zach, Adam's son. He did an interview with Justin Lum. And Zach says, we found Charles's things, his clothes and such. Who knows where it was? Do y'all know where they found it? If you think you know, put it in the comment section. Where were Charles's items hidden? Lori hid all of his clothes and all of his things. Where did she hide them? Do y'all know? Where did they hide them? Anybody know? Not the trash. Nope, not the trash. Behind the prepper food. That's right. In the storage, like in the pantry storage area, I think it was probably like another bedroom, maybe, from the sounds of the way that it was described. But Lori had more than a year of prepper food. More than a year of prepper food. And all of his things had been hidden behind all the boxes of prepper food. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. So they did later discover his things. She left them there in the house, but they were not easily found. And it wasn't until they really got in and kind of began going through everything. The other thing we know about Lori and her prepper food is from Heather. Now, Heather, she was Jezebel. Sorry, Heather, I'm making a joke, okay? But according to Chad Daybell, Heather was a Jezebel. She's a bad woman, all right? Well, she was a bad woman because she called Chad Daybell on his BS long before Jason Mao ever came into the picture. She was like, no, Chad's, nope, don't want, sorry, don't want him to be around me, my kids, my husband, nope. So she, she lived right across the street from Tammy and Chad, but Chad did not like her, and the feeling was mutual. And trust me, if you saw her interviews on Hidden, a true crime podcast, if you see her interviews, you'll know why Chad didn't like her, because she is healthy, because she is smart, and she's well grounded in reality, and she can call a spade a spade. She watched Chad Daybell and she said, this guy is a joke. He is full of it. In fact, she was mortified. She was embarrassed when she and her husband own a like a physical therapy place, and when she walked into their business, and in the waiting room was one of Chad Daybell's books. I think it was like his autobiography. Maybe it was his autobiography. She was so humiliated and embarrassed. She was like, what is this book doing here? I don't want anybody to associate us with this craziness. And so, she is just a normal person, right? So she called Chad out and said, this is not right. And of course, Chad didn't like her because of it. And so we know from her that Lori had enormous, copious amounts of this survival food. And here, listen, this is so crazy. This is so crazy. Lori was sending survival food to her family members. Adam Cox's wife said that Lori would just send them boxes of survival food, this prepper food. She was doing crazy things before she ever got involved with Chad Daybell and Jason Mao and Melanie Gibb. She was ripe for the pickings. When Jason Mao says that he met Lori in the temple and he recognized her as a gatherer, he recognized her as one of them, one of the children of light. Here's what I think he saw. He saw a very beautiful woman with a charismatic, bubbly personality who was an absolute nincompoop in trying to figure out anything related to religion. That she would believe anything. She was so invested in this delusional idea that she was destined for greatness and that religion was going to be her tool. I think the people that were in charge of this group saw her and said, yeah, there's a mark. So we have Gooberhead Chins, aka the Jadster, We've got his goober headness. We got Lori coming in, who's shipping out boxes of prepper food long before she ever met this group. They were tools, y'all. They were getting their walking orders from somebody else. I feel it in my bones. All right. Now, they definitely should be held accountable for the murder of 2 children and 2 very good people, Tammy Daybell and Charles Vallow. That is without question. But this prosecution should not be happy to stop with those 2 people. There are people higher up, more dangerous than Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. And I think Detective Hermosia and the rest better find them and charge them before we got another Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow on the loose. It's only a matter of time with what's going on, in my opinion. Now let's listen to this information about prepper food.
Hey, it's Danielle with 4 Patriots. Congratulations, my friend. You're about to make one of the smartest decisions of your life today. A choice that could make all the difference in an emergency. Not only for you, but for your loved ones too. So I want you to stay put and listen close, because I'm about to introduce you to the ultimate survival food kit. Folks in the office call it the granddaddy of survival food.
That looks
Partly
yummy.
because it's packed with 24 delicious, nutritious recipes. Meals like
doggy.
oatmeal, America's finest mac and cheese.
Oh yeah, who doesn't
Noodles,
love some
secret
mac and
spaghetti
cheese?
Recipe and more.
Looks
All
like
designed
Piddlin' Bill's
to
been in
last
in the kitchen, doesn't it?
20
Looks like Piddlin' Bill's been back there cooking up a storm. AD, he is not a chef. Well, I guess he kind of is, because he cooks all the time. But that's not what he does for a living. You know what I mean? All right. Now then. Recent news headlines. Viral video shows empty grocery store shelves. Major food shortages expected worldwide. Freak weather hits the U.S. hard with no signs of stopping. Get this one. Wild weather leads to blackouts. Food spoilage in Austin, Texas. People dove into dumpsters for scraps of rotten meat. And now we have a new horror. Experts warn China's food hoarding could lead to food shortages in the U.S. of A. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says that China is stockpiling food. The country will soon have 69% of the globe's corn reserves, 60% of rice, and 51% of wheat. But wait, China lied. The data show that China is clearly hoarding food, a China expert said to Bloomberg News and Newsmax. They will never admit to something like that. All right, let's see what is on down here. More doom and destruction. As inflation and supply chain disruptions push food costs higher and higher, families will struggle. Let's see, we got some more. So we decided to do something. It can give you the peace of mind and self-reliance that George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and yes, Abraham Lincoln wanted for all Americans. Backup food on hand. You'll have more control in a stressful situation because you'll know whatever happens, at least you won't be worried about finding something to eat. 4 Patriot survival food tastes like, quotation marks, real food. I'm a little concerned about the quotation marks, I'm not gonna lie, because it sort of implies it's not real food, but it is. Look, this food was hand-picked in Utah, home of the Mormons. We use a special low-heat dehydration technique to make it. This method locks in the mouthwater and flavor, and it makes your food easy to cook in 15 minutes. It's got a 5-star rating from real customers, people like Brenda. You owe it to your family to be prepared for whatever comes your way. This is a good way to do it. It should worry everyone that our country is allowing foreign countries to buy our food processing plants and our farmland. And Eric says, it was hard for me to take the step to buy a whole year's worth of food, but now that I've done it, I sleep so much better at night. I no longer worry about my family running out of food. Thank you. All right, now that gets me to where I want to go all the way to, oh, wait a minute. 2,752 servings of food that will last for 25 years. You get free freeze-dried meat and freeze-dried berries. You get some free bug-out kits, and you get free gifts, and you get free shipping and handling, and you get a payment plan option with no credit check. And now we're going to go all the way down. And here we are, the deluxe 1-year survival food kit. Remember what I said. Lori had 1 year's worth of food, and she's sending food to people in her family all over the place, all the time. She didn't just send it one time. The sister of Adam said they would these boxes of food would just show up at their house, and they would try to tell her, Lori, we're not into this. Quit sending us food. Quit sending us these survival books. We don't care. Don't do that. And yet, she kept sending it. You can claim your 1-year survival food kit and an exclusive gift package specially developed for this deluxe survival food kit. It includes real survival meat, freeze-dried berries, 14,914 survival seeds, a Starfire camp stove, in your limited edition food survival kit. And there's Lori and Chad. All right, now then. It's a total of 541,760 calories. That equates to 1,500 calories a day. All right, now then. Shall we start our order? If you would like for me to order this, put a 1 in the chat. Let's just see. How many of you would like me to order this? We'll start our order as soon as everybody puts a number 1 into the chat. Scarlet Summer, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it. You Are Too Mean says, buy it, baby. Kate says, yeah, buy it. It's a deal. Come on, it's a deal, folks. Jax Gustafsson says, buy it. Ms. Mad Hatter says, do it. Take out that credit card. Jules, if you buy that, Piddle and Bill doesn't have to ever cook again. All right. Yes, order it, Jules. Some are high quality. This one is not. Okay. Yeah, I'm not making fun of the prepper food. Like I said, my family laughs at me about my survival closet. Okay, so I'm not making fun. Promise. I'm making a point. Okay. All right, so let's start my order. Here we go. All right, you got to put up. Oh, goodness gracious. 1 year kit, $2,787. Ooh, golly. But you do get 26 free gifts, and that's a $973 value. Golly, I don't know about this. That's very expensive. Do y'all agree? Yeah, I don't think I can do that because, I just want to, you do realize this is for one person. This is I'm just going to say 3,000. Just I'm rounding it up, okay? I'm rounding up $210, okay? $3,000 a person. So if you got a family of 4, you're talking about $12,000 for 1 year. And Lori had other food that she's sending to people. When we talk about Lori having all this prepper food and sending food to her family members, it's a substantial amount of cash, y'all. We haven't even started talking about things like generators. Now, let's see. Is that My Patriot Supply? I don't remember. No, that's For Patriots. Okay, so let's see what Patriot Supply is. Patriot Supply. Let's see if we can find a 1 year. 3 months, 6 months. I guess I can share this with y'all. Hold on. Stop sharing. Share screen. We're going to look at My Patriot Supply. Yeah, right there. All right, so they've got 4 week, which is $277. That's for one person. Where is 1 year? Oh, here it is, right here. 1 year emergency food supply. This one's got 2,200 calories, and it's 3,268. So it's, about $400 more, but maybe a little bit better quality because you got that big plastic bin. And they got like individual, like you can buy just soup. Breakfast lover cans, staples, vegetables and snacks. Ooh, there's a survival pizza. I'm going to tell you this. Here's a high protein pack. I've often thought about ordering just out of curiosity what it would taste like. Here's a food supplement. Chocolate pudding, baby. I would totally buy me a can of chocolate pudding. Dried, I love dried bananas and dried strawberries. So I'd probably like that can of strawberries. But anyway, this is big business, y'all. This is big business. People are. Here's a survival seed vault, and I don't mind saying we do have seeds. But Bill likes gardening. He's, that's his normal year. So there's a seed vault. Everybody really ought to have a seed vault for sure. What else they have? Air purification systems. So they're selling there's a fire and smoke evacuation mask. So survival stuff is big business. Oh, there it is right there. There's a 100-hour candle, potassium iodide anti-radiation pills, canned heat, space heater. There's some backpack. Oh, a Faraday backpack. Yeah, notice the Faraday bags are sold out. There's a reason for that. Because even if we were to get like a particular type of solar flare, it would kill your phone and stuff. So a lot of people get like their phone batteries and store them in Faraday bags. Thermal blanket, flashlight, thermal charger. I have a couple of those. So you can charge your phone, by laying out in the sun. Solar powered motion sensor light. Everybody's got one of those on their house. A lot of these will have now solar panels that would charge anything, right? That you could hook up your radio to or whatever. Bear deterrent, colloidal silver. Yeah. Okay, so y'all get my point. This whole prepping thing, prep like a Mormon, all that. It's big business. Okay, so not only are people doing it that are connected to more, LDS, but there's a lot of people that are doing it because there's an awareness that, things are a little weird right now in the world. But 29%, which is about 30% of the adult population in the United States, has spent a collective 11 billion with a B in the last 12 months on emergency preparedness. That's shocking. That's an incredible amount of money. 11 billion. The most often purchased survivalist items is food and water. 21% of the US population admits to being a prepper on some level. Like me, maybe it's extra dried beans and rice in the pantry, but certainly not $10,000 worth of prepper food. There are other people that have $100,000 worth of prepper food and a remote location of 100 acres with a big fence built around it with four-wheelers and, a well dug in the ground. They're ready for zombie land. So, let's see, people are spending the most. Let's see, the average prepper put $1,057 into a savings account and the rest of their money towards supplies. I think that's probably true. I've seen a lot of preppers say money may not be worth anything, but food will always be good for bartering and stuff like that. I just don't envision it to that level. I just can't see it in my mind like that. The next most costly survivalist category is home renovations. A lot of people are making rooms that are radiation proof because they're worried about Russia right now. And then all preppers, it seems like, have silver and some have gold. Toilet paper is the next most often purchased survival thing after food and water, before medical supplies. Isn't that funny? I was shocked when I saw that. All right. And let's see, means of evacuation. Some have purchased cars. Some have purchased four-wheelers. In the last 12 months, have you spent any money preparing for emergencies? 77% of women say no. 35% of men say yes. So it's still not a very big, part of the population. Men are twice as likely as women to say that they have a stash of cash, and they are 3 times as likely to have invested in home renovations for survival needs. Women preppers, this is funny. Women preppers primarily purchase food and water and toilet paper, and men buy food and water, survival kits, and medical supplies. And which generation are prepping for an emergency? This is interesting. Baby boomers. Only 18% of baby boomers are preppers, because they've lived a life of affluence. They've lived in a country that was the best place in the world, and they can't imagine that it could go south. Generation Z, 40% of Generation Z are prepping. That's amazing to me. All right. Okay, so very interesting, right? That this whole prepping thing, you know, has been connected to the Mormon sect. And is that what happened? Is that one of the ways that Rexburg, Idaho, becomes a point of pilgrimage? Because it's that idea of the end of the world is coming, and if you get in with our group now, we'll be able to keep you safe. And Chad Daybell talks about hearing whiteout cities, things in whiteout, and he thinks somehow that's connected to the white tents that are very often purchased by the Mormon prepper groups, like Preparing a People. So it's important that when you hear people like Kresha's got like a PhD in Mormonism. Not really, but she's immersed herself in all of this information because she wants to know what happened, what went wrong. They're hungry for understanding, for how Lori could have gone from this kind and loving, wonderful mom to basically what amounts to a cold-blooded killer. They don't understand it, and they're looking toward Chad Daybell as the catalyst for this. But I see it just a tiny bit different. I'm thinking, yes, Chad, but I'm thinking Melanie Gibb and Jason Mao, their names come up too often, too much. And it's all related to this prepping stuff. These weekend call-outs where everybody loads up all their food and all their tents and they all go to a central location. And listen, supposedly there's going to be like this big truck that's going to go around to everybody's house, and people have to put all their prepper food into one centralized truck. All of the things that you've amassed during the years for prepping is all getting put into the LDS bucket of faith. And you're gonna all go out, you're gonna live in tent cities, and they're gonna give you food. And then they're gonna spread it to other people that didn't, have food. The problem is, it's not exactly the way that the 144,000 is gonna work. You don't get to go be a part of it unless you have saved, unless you have promised food and money and savings and land to the LDS Church. If you want to be a part of their protection, their guarded compound, you have to have been able to save something and put toward the bigger group, the good of the group. Now, if you think this doesn't sound like Jim Jones, you were not paying attention. Now, this prepping stuff is big in the Mormon faith. They believe in the end of days. They think that it's coming, right? But I think that what Chad and Lori did, and this whole Preparing a People to some extent, I don't really know how much, they just took a good idea, and they figured out a way to capitalize on it, in my opinion. It's a good idea. If you live at a place where there are tornadoes, it's a good idea for you to have a basement. You need a cellar to go down into in case a tornado comes. I live on the Gulf Coast. I can't put a cellar in, but I can make sure that all my house is built up to code to withstand winds of 500-600 miles an hour, so that when a Category 5 hurricane does come through, my house will be standing, right? It's a good idea to save some money. And if you hate inflation, the best way to void against inflation is to either buy land or to buy, silver and gold, is what they tell me. I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what I'm instructed. So it's a bit sad that a good idea, having 3 months worth of prepper food in case something goes wrong at the grocery store, that's a good idea. That's a smart person. But to invest $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, maybe someone is taking advantage of you, right? I know many LDS families in California that have very recently moved to Utah. Yeah, truth seeker, they are really this. There is an amping up of these end time kind of fear tactics. Don't buy gold and silver, it's a scam. I gotta disagree, VC. No, it is not a scam. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Wrong. They manipulated and twisted their religion to take advantage of major religious people. There's a lot of fear, right? It's a fear-based kind of environment. And I think that what Chad and Lori did, it just blew the whole thing completely out of proportion. Listen, I'm a Methodist, and I recognize that I'm expected to do good works because that's what being a Christian is about. So I do it. I also would like very much to be in heaven when the end of time comes for me. I'm talking about when my body wears out. I do want to be I want to end up in heaven where my dad is, and my mama, my papa, my sister-in-law. I want to be there. So you know, I try to live according to those principles that I've been taught. But I don't have anybody standing over me saying, you know, if you don't contribute a year's worth of prepper food, you're going to be kept out of the compound. I don't have to contend with that. In fact, if somebody told me that, I would just say, you know what? Me and my Bible, we're going to go to another church. We can find a group that will accept us as we are, rather than living up to some way that's going to put money or power in some old guy's pocket at the top, right? Yeah, I do think, talking about witchcraft and voodoo and such, I do think if you listen to that patriarchal blessing that Chad Daybell did, I do think satanic is a word I'm comfortable with in this context. I'm not normally one to point a finger and say, ooh, evil, ooh, satanic, ooh, Beelzebub. In fact, I'm more likely to sort of make a joke of it. But listening to that recording and his breathless hysteria, you can hear Alex weeping. These people were literally in a delusional, hysterical state. It's frightening. It's frightening, the influence that this guy had. Chad was so complete, his delusion was so organized that he's able to look at Sarena Sharpe and say, don't be surprised if my wife dies. And oh yeah, your husband is dying too. Now, what do you guys want to bet that there was a husband that had been hand-chosen by Chad and Lori for Sarena? If you think that's true, if someone was hand-chosen to be Serena's husband, put a 1. If you think, no, not really, Jules, no, hyperbole, put a 2. Thank you, Michelle. You're a sweetheart. Thank you. Pretty soon we'll be burning witches. We're not burning witches in here. Before we purchased our home 10 years ago, I had a vision. The shop would be a church. The house was purchased. They sold it to us for half price. Wow. You have I'm telling you, Zelda, beautiful, beautiful property. My grandma tried to get my paralyzed grandpa healed. She went to a church with people speaking in tongues to heal him. I know, it's very uncomfortable. I know, I'm not going to, I don't want to, just because someone has different ideas than I do, it's not my place. It's not my place to question it. But when people start dying, when little kids go missing and everybody's saying, oh, they're fine for 3 months before we can make an arrest, I'm uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, Barbara Hudson. Ezekiel 7:19 does say that they will throw their money into the streets and their silver and gold will not help them. It is very sobering. Yeah, there's a lot of the preppers that will tell you, that your money will not be worth if the end comes, the big one arrives, that your money won't be worth anything and you're better off to have, food, that people will barter for food. But I just can't get there. My brain can't, it requires way too much catastrophic thinking, and I'm not prone to catastrophizing. That is not one of my cognitive distortions. So, if you're a person that you're sort of prone to that idea of catastrophe, then it's very easy for you to buy into cult-like thinking. Lori was, washed in the blood of the whole LDS teachings and end times. Her family, her dad went to jail because he refused to pay taxes. He decided that taxes were unholy and illegal, and he wasn't going to pay them. They had some, very extreme type of LDS beliefs, but there was some highly questionable behavior in the Cox house. So she was sort of prepped, I think, to buy into a lot of what Jason Mao and Melanie Gibb and Chad Daybell were selling. But I don't think that removes her from culpability. Not at all. She was not insane by the legal definition. She was thinking clearly. She was hiding things because she knew it'd get her in trouble. She was manipulating effectively. She had good linear logical thought. Fluid reasoning was intact by evidence by her behaviors that she engaged in. No, she should absolutely be held responsible for her behaviors. My fear, my wish is that the cops don't let this fall, let this end with Lori and Chad. There's other people that need to be investigated. For one thing, Sarena, her story that she met Jason Mao, he introduced her to Melanie Gibb. Melanie Gibb brought her to Lori, and Lori brought her to Chad. Hey, we got plenty more work to do here, Detective Hermosia. There's somebody else out there bigger than Lori and Chad. I believe it. Let's do this. We got about 220 people in here. Let's see. If you believe that there's someone bigger than Chad and Lori, put a 1. If you believe the buck stopped with Chad and Lori, that they were the ones that were responsible for all of this cult-like killing and whatnot, put a 2. Let's see where we stand. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a minute while y'all put your numbers in. 1, if you think, no, there's somebody bigger. And 2, if you believe the buck stops with Chad. Okay, no name says buck stops with Chad. Mary Wick says buck stops with Chad. All right, a lot of people. Okay, so, we're about half and half, aren't we? About half of us think that there's somebody else beside Chad and Lori. And then the other half thinks that, nope, Chad and Lori are it. Lori and Chad are not smart enough to pull this off. That's what I thought. I kept going back. Chad Daybell is a goober head. I cannot see him being this huge mastermind. For one thing, he just stole ideas from other people. Let me show y'all. Hold on just a minute. Y'all are gonna, this is pretty. I kind of played back and forth about whether I wanted to do this on this video, but I'm going to because it fits in. Y'all just hang on because it's about to get, if this hasn't been weird yet, it's about to get weird. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to start right here. Okay, let me make sure that you guys can see it. Okay, you can see it. Now then. Okay, so I put in temple priestess, going by the semantics that were being used by this group. And I even heard Sarena use this terminology, and Zulema has used this terminology, Chad and Lori, that have all used this terminology. So I thought, well, what exactly is just out there in the general sphere, right? Google Earth kind of thing. What are they saying about temple priestess? And you're getting a lot. Now, can I remind y'all of this too? I want to remind y'all that Lori Vallow had her living room was all mirrors, no furniture, and Tylee tells the detective, because my mother likes to dance in the middle of the night. So Lori gets up and dances all night long. And there are people that have come out of the county jail and said that she's doing it now. She gets up and she dances around her cell in the middle of the night, no music. So let's just remember that. Okay, that's kind of weird right there. So you've got the Sedona Soul Fire, Dance Temple Immersions. This is Sedona, Arizona. The Priestess Dance. The Priestess Dance Immersion is an enlivening week-long experience of divine acknowledgement. Enliven your creative force. Embody your prowess. The immersion offers tools for each dancer to have direct response and immediate experience with the great goddess streams of wisdom and capability that naturally course through her own beingness. Our embodiment is our deepest blessing, literally infused with the power of creation. There is the sacred dance, temple arts, yogic practice, ritual intention, and synergistic sisterhood. This will awaken the flesh and bones of this immersion, will allow us to awaken and cultivate this energy, directing it towards heart-centric manifestations and offering it up as an etheric elixir of inspiration to ourselves and the world at large. Priestess Dance is a modulated initiatory sacred study program designed with the intention to cultivate experiential awareness and connections to our bodies and ourselves as instruments, channels, and conduits. This nonsense goes on. Priestess Dance entering topics of training and exploration, archetypal exploration, strengthening the container, clearing the crystal channel, meaningful movement, creating and sanctified sacred space, mudras, symbols, and sacred geometry, temple body consecration ceremony, the law of consecration, full moon priestess power dance, yadi yadi yadi. All right, remember, if you will, Lori went missing for a while. Remember that? She did not have JJ or Tylee with her. I wonder if she was going through this training. I wonder if this was the source of all of this dancing in the middle of night thing. If this was part of her priestess persona. Right, it would have captured her attention, because the whole Mormon thing talks about the 144,000 and the being kings and queens or priests and priestesses. And then I saw the new community of light, the light priestess. Let's see. All right. This is the light priestess temple. Oh, I thought it was closer. Let me get all the way to the bottom. All right. All of the contact information. Yeah, I told y'all I was going to get weird. Y'all didn't believe me. This little thing here just took place about a month or so. Oh, no, 4 months ago. Yes. You know why they went to Egypt? To bless the tombs of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Now, they claim that this is Wyoming, that this is from Cheyenne, Wyoming, right? The problem is that they meet in Arizona. Phoenix is one of the locations, as well as, drum roll, Hawaii. Yes, you heard me right. I said Hawaii. These are various guides and life coaches. There's a parenting attunement lady. All right. So they now have a temple in Egypt. So they have memberships in Egypt. And they have one in Arizona. Here's Hawaii. And I swear, you can't really see it on this one. I'll run, the picture will come up. I'll show you which one looks like Lori. Now, I don't know, how many of you know about Lori and her 7 and 11 are her numbers? Have y'all seen that? If you've seen where Lori has an affinity for the number 7 and 11, put a 1 if you've seen that before. Very beautiful hand waving, Miss Mad Hatter. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Yeah, so Lori has said that her numbers, her sacred numbers or something like that were 7 and 11. Yeah, see, a lot of people, okay. I don't remember exactly where I learned that from, but maybe it's in the, I don't remember. I'll find it because I run across it a couple different places. So it got kind of interesting to me as I ran across this whole 777 portal, the Hawaii Prestige Pilgrimage. Who can make this up? Who in the hell can make this up? Okay, there's also an 1111. There's the 1111 Egypt Stargate Pilgrimage. And that will happen November 3rd through the 12th. I guess it's a yearly thing, like a, the 777 portal is July 5th through the 8th. And the 1111 is Egypt Stargate Pilgrimage. What do y'all think of that? I want somebody, I just want to know what y'all are thinking right now, because I was like, this is crazy. I don't know if I even want to, oh, wait, yeah, y'all can see it. I was thinking, do I even want to do a video on this? It's so out there. It's so crazy. And yet here it is, y'all. It's right here. It's right here. It's a thing. The whole 7 and 11 is related to Hawaii and this priestess of light. It's real. So I am convinced it is, Jax. It is just hard to even, hey, Much Endeavors, welcome. It's just so hard to wrap your mind around, and yet we're looking at it. It's a real thing, okay? And that, yeah, that's exactly right. They actually used the date 7/11 to kill Charles. That's exactly right. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is this 7/11, this is part of this Jennifer Ashira Ra, the light priestess temple in Hawaii. I'm trying to get you to see the connection. I think that, you know how Lori was always going to Hawaii? And now we've learned Melanie Gibb was there and Melanie Pulowski was there. That she was totally a part of this group. I'm convinced of it. It's unbelievable. So activate your mastery. She's doing all the dancing. This is the Queen Codes of Nefertiti. So great. That one is that's an online. Look, that's on. Okay, so today's the 16th, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. In 1 week, y'all, next Saturday is the Queen Codes of Nefertari activation. It's an online event. We should go. Who wants to go with me? Let's do this and see if we can see something related to Lori Vallow's history. It's in London, but they're going to do it online. Global event, live online from Lemuria on the island of Hawaii. This is a Light Temple collective membership event. 14-day free trial. Learn more here. Online membership. Receive a 14-day free trial with VIP bonuses. I want to be a VIP. Join the collective. Your soul is calling to join the new community of light. Okay, so where's the price? It's going to be expensive. If you got to look this hard for it, it's going to be real expensive. Real expensive. Beloved, connect with your soul tribe. Okay, what you will receive. First Thursday of the month, live Light Temple Council Sacred Conversation. Exclusive VIP bonus. Prayer circle. Ooh, a live Oracle coaching Q&A with Jennifer Ashira Ra. Sun and Moon Magic updates. Mystery teachings. A members only library vault. Quarterly Temple of Isis Blue Lotus Tea Ceremony. Cacao, solar, and lunar sacred rituals. Oh, there's a library replays. I want to get to that library replays, see if Lori Vallow's on any of them. When you join, receive your early VIP temple price. What is the price? Okay, I'm going to join, but you got to tell me how to do it. $430 a year, or $39 per month for a free trial. Enter the temple. Are you a yes for your soul's next level evolution? Should I do it? Should I join and see if we can see some connections between Chad and Lori and these people's teachings. Does your free 2-week trial include attending the main event? Yeah, online, right? I think it's for online. The prize is Chad. Your free gifts are Chad Daybell's books. Yo Stella says, well, hell yeah. Of course you ought to join. I'm totally doing it, y'all. We're going to do this. We're going to do it. Into the temple of doom. All right. Okay, I gotta switch us off. Will it let me use PayPal? Let me see if it'll let me use PayPal. No, I think I have to put a regular credit card in. Yep. Which means they get to just keep charging me over and over and over, don't they? I don't care. I'm totally doing it, and then I'll cancel my credit card. We are giving you 14 days free on us. Unlock your full sacred potential. Join the new community of light. Receive your VIP bonuses. Live transmissions. Yes, if we join, we can watch the live transmission next Saturday. We are so confident of the next level life you will create by becoming a member of the Light Temple Collective and walking with us. We are giving you 14 free days. All right, I'm going to join, but I can't do it while I've got y'all up on the... Okay. I'm totally doing this. You see the things I do for y'all's entertainment? All right, there we go. Okay, now, hold on, I'm looking for there we go. Okay, so this is Jennifer Ashira Ra, and this is the Hawaii Priestess pilgrimage making use of the 777 and 1111. Let's see what's on the blog. Oh, it's going to keep me out until I join. So I have to join before it'll let me see. Now there is a YouTube. High Priestess online training. Okay, I'm trying to find the link to the YouTube channel. This is the woman right here. Let me see if okay, I think this is it right here. Sign. Yeah. Okay, so this is Mary Magdalene, Hathor, Golden Priestess Codes Elimination.
I am Jennifer Shira, and I am so honored to walk with you and to share this incredible offering with you. And as
obviously, you can see she's in Hawaii.
The offering of the illumined ones, the Mary Magdalene and Hathor, Golden Codes Illumination, the 1010 Portal, 5-week activation immersion, and it's offered online.
I know, sunset gazing. It's creepy, isn't it?
Beautiful Lemuria on the big island of Hawaii.
And remember, they do things in Arizona too. I totally think this was Lori.
offering that is coming in, and the dates are October 1st, we begin in the season of Libra, and it's October 1st through November 5th. And it'll be 4 temple sessions and centered around the incredibly powerful 1010 portal ceremony. Initiation.
That's right, M. Taylor.
I invite
It's very
you to
strange,
join with
wasn't it?
us as we are being called to the temple, and Mary Magdalene and Hathor are calling us to walk and join with them in the Golden Temple of Light, this new Golden Temple that was activated on the Lionsgate 8-8 portal, as the physical structures are now activating on the planet for the new Golden Age and the new Golden World. And now the Golden Priest and Priestesses are being called back to the temple and to fulfill the Golden Prophecy, which states that the new Golden Age will begin when the new golden beings and the shining ones and the illumined ones rise and return.
Oh
to the
yes,
temple.
Kate, they
And
talk
so
about
this
portals.
is
Yes.
The calling is for you, beloved. And
That's right,
calling
Emily.
us, the
That-
golden
I'm-
priests and
I'm gonna have
priestesses,
to-
return the temple.
I'm going to have to use a card that I'm going to,
codes of
won't have it,
illumination
you
are
know, that I'll be
activating.
happy to kill.
Mary
Like
Magdalene
to
and Hathor
tell them it got stolen
are
or something, get a
stepping
new one
into
issued.
their higher ascension, and Mary Magdalene is opening her next level of golden ascension as
When
we
the
move into the golden age. We're in
moon
the
is
Aquarian
in
age
the
right now,
seventh
and the
house,
Piscean age
and
of the Rose lineage, and all the
Jupiter
beauty of that
lines
incredible
with
sacred wisdoms and lineage and
It's very
foundation
70-ish.
of your body and your feelings and your sacred
This is
sexuality
a dawning
are all
of
now
the
ready to
age
ascend.
of
And this is your foundation of the
Aquarius.
Rose lineage and your incredible
There goes the neighborhood,
body
Barb.
work and deep soul
Barbara.
work, and your path has
People are
created a
so
foundation
gullible
you're
and
in
desperate.
underneath. So now
Absolutely,
you can
Melly.
ascend higher into the
it-
next
it's very
golden
disturbing.
energies and the
Yeah, it is disturbing. I'm a little worried about the size of her pupils too. Look how little her pupils are. She may be drinking the magic tea. You know what I mean? All right. They have 700 subscribers. The channel was started in 2020. And they have 700 subscribers. She's made 73 videos. So she's not making very many videos. Most of them seem to be interviews with other, what she calls creators, but that's not creators on YouTube. I think she means like creators of light. Now, what did Jason Mao say? She's one of us gatherers. He used the word light, talking about the light around Lori Vallow. Be interesting to know if all these women know Jason Mao.
beloved, and I am so excited to invite you to join with us in the temple. Join with the creators and the way showers and the initiators of the new golden world, and join with us in the temple for the 1111 Stargate activation, the Union of Universes, the Golden Council of Creators gathering, November 11th, online or in person. We will be live from Lemuria on the island of Hawaii, the mountaintops of Lemuria, and that is at 12 p.m. Pacific time and 3 p.m. East Coast time. And this is an incredible gathering of the new leaders and the new wayshowers and the new grids coming together for the Union of Universes. So much will be coming in for us as we co-collaborate and co-download and bring in these new energies of what we're visualizing.
I
what
feel
your
something
original
really powerful
wisdoms
about
and your
Egypt lately.
specific
This is crazy, y'all.
lineage
This is crazy.
and
All
soul.
right. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'm gonna sign up. Right? Martin says it in one word: Waco. Absolutely. That's what. And remember what Sarena Sharpe said, that she was just so lonely. You know, she was so lonely in Connecticut. She felt disconnected. She didn't have anything. And suddenly these people are welcoming her in and bringing all this magic into her life, telling her she's special, telling her she's part of the 144,000. And they move. They just load up and they just move to Rexburg, Idaho, with the belief that they're special and they're going to live when no one else does. Everybody else meets their doom and demise, and Sarena Sharpe and her poor husband has to die too, but Sarena Sharpe gets to survive, and I guarantee you there was a husband that had already been picked out for her, just like Ian Pulowski. So I'm going to, is this wild speculation at its finest? Of course. Definitely wild speculation. Could just be a deal with the whole, confirmation bias kind of problem where, yeah, there's connections to Lori Vallow in what this lady, Ashira, is speaking. But it does. I'm going to tell you who else it sounds like. Y'all are going to recognize it when I say it. It sounds very much like Zulema Pastenis in the way she speaks, doesn't it? Sounds very much. Yeah. All right. Okay. So like before, we have made a very long live. It's 2 hours. So what I'm going to end up doing is this whole live unedited will be in the members only section of the channel. I will edit back where everything I was talking about related specifically to Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell and Sarena Sharpe, which is about an hour. So I'll edit that back, and that'll be available to everyone. But the full discussion, including all this information about, Temple Ashira Ra or Lightness Shira Law, Priestess Shira Ashira Ra. I'm going to put all that in the members only section. Okay? People will go to great lengths to belong and to feel like they have a purpose. People, you all have a purpose, and I appreciate you. And you're a sweetheart, Mad Miss Hatter. Thank you for that. Yeah. We matter in our own skin, y'all. We matter right where we are. There's things that are important right around you. Maybe it's just things you haven't paid attention to, but it's there. You don't need to move all the way across the country, and you certainly don't need to have some little creepy guy like Chad Daybell telling you that you're a goddess. You're a goddess in your own skin. I always joke about being a domestic goddess. Be proud of who you are. Love yourself. Love the people in your family that are with you, and be proud where you are. Be happy. Find your happiness where you are. All right. Mad Miss Hatter, Heart, Face, and Love. Everyone has a purpose. Yes, ma'am, Nancy. Play 144,000 things. Been going on forever. When I was a kid, I heard in the 70s over and over they were going to carry the weak on their backs to Naval. Right? Yeah, Cinnamon. Absolutely. It's this fear-inspired adult fairy tales. And they're designed to separate you from your money. Just like this Lightness lady. She's just making money. I guarantee you, as soon as the camera goes off and there's nobody filming her, I guarantee you she's got on her Nike shoes and her shorts, and, she's going out and buying mac and cheese. Hello. This is the goddess Jules of true crime. Please enter here. Leave your daily worries and burdens behind, for this is a place of love and belonging. You will need to deposit $10 at the door. You'll find that grand hallway of donation below in the Super Chat circle. So I invite you, lighten your burdens. Lighten yourself of your $20 and then enter with a free and unburdened heart to gather in the sisterhood of Jewels of True Crime. You see how foolish it is? It's just so silly. And yet that is exactly what they're doing. They don't have a lot of followers. They've only got 700 that have subscribed over a 3-year period of time. But those 700 are probably people that are really sad and really isolated and really giving up a lot of cash to this lady. You know what I mean? Did y'all see the size of that gold hanging around her neck? just keep your money where it belongs, which is in your pocket. And don't hit the subscribe. I hope you will. And of course, if you're a member of a channel, it'll show you anything that comes up, including when people are live and whatnot. So please hit subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up, because that kind of, boosts the view. But more than anything, if you can share the videos on your social media, put it on your Twitter, your Instagrams, or whatever, that's a big help. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. It was a long live, but I had a good time, and all of your comments make it fun. So y'all have a wonderful day. All right, I'll be back.